Many civilizations flourished in the vastness of the galaxy, each with its own distinct cultures, technologies, and languages. Among them was the prestigious Pangasmic University, which served as a beacon of knowledge and education for species from all over the universe. Its eminent linguist and scholar, Professor Xander Vortex, committed his life to deciphering the mysteries of ancient tongues for many years. As he got ready for another semester at the University of Professor Vortex, he studied the complex scripts and symbols left behind by long-gone races in the hopes of shedding light on their histories and revealing the secrets they held. Could hardly suppress his excitement after discovering some old tablets written in a language that had puzzled even the brightest minds in the field. The odd symbols and glyphs appeared to contradict accepted linguistic conventions, and despite his best efforts, little did he realize that his world was about to be flipped upside down by the arrival of a new set of pupils, a delegation from Earth, the home planet of the mysterious human race. Despite the professor's best attempts, he had been unable to comprehend their meaning. Made contact with the galactic community recently, and many of the alien students and faculty members were both curious and afraid about their presence at the university. Many had heard rumors about the strange customs and unpredictable nature of humans, and some even feared that their presence would Professor Vortex regarded people as a special opportunity to upset the delicate balance of academic life. He had always been captivated by human culture and history, and hoped that by working closely with them, he may learn new things about the secrets of language and communication, as Professor Vortex wasted no time in introducing his new students to the ancient tablets he had been examining when the semester started. To his amazement, humans appeared to understand the symbols almost immediately. Professor Jack, a young man in the human student body, said, "I guess I, Professor Vortex, was taken aback by the sight of what appeared to be an ancient form of our own language, one that our ancestors employed thousands of years ago. Could it be that humans, a race that had only recently entered the galactic scene, had the Professor Vortex was overjoyed to find the key to unlocking the mysteries of this ancient tongue? He had spent years and even decades trying to read the old tablets, poring over each sign and glyph, and looking for patterns and meanings in the seemingly random scribbles. However, with the arrival of everything had changed because of these human students. Jack, the enthusiastic young man who had initially noticed the symbols, quickly rose to prominence as Professor Vortex's star student. He possessed a natural gift for languages, and his familiarity with dialects from ancient Earth was crucial in deciphering the tablets. But it wasn't just Jack who was moving forward. The remaining human students, each with their own special abilities and viewpoints, were adding to the project in ways that Professor V. Vortex had never imagined possible. Among them was Sarah, a shy but intelligent young woman with a talent for seeing connections and patterns that over the course of the following few weeks, Professor Vortex and his human students laboriously deciphered the tablets. They started by matching the symbols to known ancient. When delving deeper into the language, the students encountered many obstacles and roadblocks because the syntax and grammar were unlike anything they had ever encountered. Earth languages searching for patterns and similarities. The students brought their own unique perspectives to the table, drawing on their knowledge of history, anthropology, and linguistics. Seen previously, and the meanings of many symbols remained enigmatic, but the team persisted, poring over the tablets for extended periods of time in the lab and cross-referencing their discoveries with other ancient texts. Slowly but surely, the pieces started to come together as they descended further into the language. They started to reveal its secrets. The symbols and glyphs were not just a way to express oneself, but also a potent instrument for reshaping reality. With the correct combination of symbols, one could build, destroy, and even bend the fabric. With this understanding of space and time, the implications for scientific and technological advancement were immense. They could develop new energy sources, advance medical treatments, and even discover the secrets of the universe itself. However, as they carried out their work, they started to Professor Vortex realize that they weren't the only ones interested in the old language. There were other strong, dangerous people and groups out there that would do whatever it took to obtain this knowledge. They had to exercise caution, though. They couldn't let this information fall into the wrong hands, but he also realized that they couldn't keep it to themselves. This was a discovery that had the potential to alter the course of galactic history, and that as the weeks passed into months, it was their duty to inform everyone. The group made steady progress. They were able to decode a sizable portion of the tablets and were starting to comprehend the language's intricate grammar and syntax. Professor Vortex was astounded to see his students make advancements that had eluded him for years thanks to their new perspectives. There were still many obstacles to overcome because the tablets were old and fragile, and some of the symbols were so worn and faded that they were nearly hard to read. However, innovative tactics have opened the secrets of the ancient language in ways he had never imagined conceivable. Professor Vortex and his crew persevered in their efforts to solve the mysteries of the universe, pushing themselves to the limit even as they encountered gaps in their knowledge and jigsaw pieces they were unable to locate. Old language. And then one day, they made progress. They had been battling with a particularly challenging section of the tablets, a set of symbols that, no matter how they were organized, seemed to make no sense. Suddenly, Sarah had an epiphany, had been viewing it all incorrectly. Rather than being read in a straightforward left-to-right fashion, the symbols were intended to be read in a convoluted, multi-dimensional pattern that twisted and turned in on itself. It was a puzzle wrapped in an enigma, and with this new insight, the group came to realize they had discovered something absolutely amazing as they worked to rearrange the symbols and glyphs until they started to form intelligible sentences and phrases. The tablets were not merely a record of an ancient society, but also a blueprint for as they continued to decode the tablets, they discovered technology that was far beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. It was a machine that could create and destroy entire worlds with the push of a button, a device that could harness the power of the stars themselves. Professor Vortex and his team's discovery caught the attention of the larger scientific community. Soon, scholars and researchers from all over the galaxy were rushing to Pang Galactic University to learn more about the ancient language and its possible uses. Were greeted as heroes, the galactic saviors, and the ones to usher in a new era of prosperity when they found themselves at the heart of a media frenzy, their faces plastered over news feeds and hollow screens from one end of the galaxy to the other. And advancement. But along with their newfound fame came new risks. Some wanted to take the tablets so they could utilize the information for their own evil plans, and there were also those who were skeptics, those who questioned the validity of their statements and attempted to discredit them. Labor Professor Vortex was aware that they had a long road ahead of them and would need to maintain their efforts to safeguard the tablets at all costs and ensure that the knowledge they contained was used for good rather than evil. In order to develop technology that could prevent the destruction of the galaxy, they would need to figure out how to harness the power of the ancient language and translate the remaining tablets. However, they also knew that they weren't alone because they had, together with the help of the entire galactic community, they would overcome any obstacles that stood in their way and come out on top. Professor Vortex would be proud of his team for bringing together such a bright group of young people to do what he had thought was impossible. Felt a sense of pride and purpose that he had never experienced before. They had begun this adventure as strangers, but as they got to work, they realized that they were a family, united by a same goal and destiny, and they were prepared to face whatever was ahead. Professor Vortex was confident that the team would succeed because they possessed the necessary knowledge, abilities, and most importantly, each other. They would transform the galaxy, and nothing would stand in their way. Over the course of the following several months, they worked non-stop, throwing all of their effort into their job. As they descended deeper into the tablets, they started to uncover more and more about them, and they scarcely slept, living off of coffee and adrenaline as they raced against the clock to unlock the secrets of the ancient language. The ancient civilization that gave rise to them, They discovered that a great war had engulfed their globe, a struggle between those who wished to utilize language's power for the greater good and those who wished to use it for their own self-serving reasons. They learned of the great heroes who had risen to lead the charge, and the ones who had given everything to ensure that the language would survive, as well as the sacrifices that had been made and the lives lost in the battle to protect the knowledge of the language, and that the galaxy would have a chance to fight back against the darkness that threatened to devour it. As they worked, officials of the Galactic Council, the regulatory body that controlled the galaxy's many civilizations, became even more interested in what they were doing. Professor Vortex first showed interest in their work, despite his initial misgivings about their involvement, because he understood the Council had its own goals, and he was concerned that they may try to seize control of the project for those purposes. However, as he learned more about the Council, as he started to plan for the future, the representatives realized they weren't the enemy, but rather partners who shared his vision of a united galaxy against a common peril. They recognized they would have to establish the group they called the Galactic Alliance was a confederation of the most brilliant minds and potent civilizations in the galaxy, cooperating to secure the survival and prosperity of the galaxy. It was able to harness the power of the ancient language and use it to defend the galaxy against whatever threats lay ahead. Professor Vortex first understood that it would not be an easy road, that there would be difficulties and barriers at every step, and that there would be people who would do everything in their power to prevent them. As the years went by, the team's research continued to push the limits of what was possible, was that they created new methods and technologies based on the principles of the ancient language, revolutionizing everything from space travel to medicine. The human students, who had initially arrived on the galactic stage as wide-eyed outsiders, rose quickly to become leaders in their respective fields and founded their own research centers and businesses, extending the ancient language's knowledge globally. Professor Vortex observed with pride how his students altered the course of galactic history, knowing that nothing would have been possible without their distinct viewpoints, unwavering dedication, and unflinching belief. Looking back on his lengthy and storied career, Professor Vortex recognized that the power of knowledge allowed him to continue teaching and conducting research at Pan-Galactic University. He also became a well-liked character on campus, respected for his kindness, wisdom, and unshakable dedication to his pupils, concluded that his work with the human pupils would be his greatest legacy. Together, they had solved the universe's mysteries and ushered in a new era of discovery and advancement. Professor Vortex realized that he had been fortunate to be a part of this. As he sat in his office surrounded by the ancient tablets, he had no idea that his work would have such a significant impact on the future. He had always believed in the power of information and the significance of understanding the past. But this was an unbelievable adventure. Professor Vortex couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and wonder at the huge and enigmatic galaxy, full of unlimited possibilities and untold secrets, even though he knew he would never be able to untangle all of its mysteries and artifacts that had started it all. The legacy of Professor Vortex and his human students would last for years to come. Their effort had not only altered the path of galactic history, but had also inspired countless others. Mysteries he was thankful to have had a small role in the amazing story of the cosmos. The old language remained a continual reminder of the amazing power of knowledge and understanding it was, and as the galaxy continued to evolve and change, they had set an example for others to follow, demonstrating that everything was possible with devotion, hard effort, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. In the end, Professor Vortex realized that he had contributed to something genuinely unique, a monument to the enduring spirit of discovery and innovation that had propelled humankind forward for centuries and would do so for decades to come. He had always believed in the value of knowledge and the need to comprehend the past, but he had never anticipated that his work would have such a deep influence. He set out to unlock the secrets of the cosmos, and in doing so, he had irrevocably altered the path of history. Professor Vortex couldn't help but feel hopeful as he gazed out at the stars because it was a legacy that would live on long after he was gone, a testament to the amazing strength of the human spirit and the limitless possibilities that lay ahead. and hope for the future. He understood that he would never be able to discover all of the galaxy's secrets, but he was thankful to have had even a tiny role in the amazing tale. The galaxy was a huge and wonderful place full of endless opportunities and untold adventures. Professor Vortex smiled and twinkled as he turned back to his work, eager to continue his quest of discovery and exploration of the cosmos. He knew that the best was still to come because the galaxy was full of limitless opportunities, of which his pupils had only begun to explore the surface. Watch more incredible sci-fi stories by subscribing.